Well, Merry Christmas, everyone, from Wesley Biblical Seminary. I'm Dr. Matt Ayers, president of Wesley Biblical Seminary. And today, for this Christmas season, we're going to talk about hope. Let me read for us this passage from Matthew's Gospel. Matthew chapter 1. Now the birth of Jesus Christ happened this way. While his mother, Mary, was engaged to Joseph, before they came together, she was found to be pregnant through the Holy Spirit. There are several birth narratives throughout the Scriptures. Specifically, in the Old Testament, we hear about the birth narrative of Moses and the events surrounding the birth of Moses. And his birth happened at a pivot point, a really important time in the life of Israel, where God was going to break into their circumstances and do something new and different, and set history on a different trajectory. We read too about the birth narrative of the prophet Samuel in 1 Samuel chapters 1 and 2. Similarly to the Moses story, it's a pivot moment in between the period of the judges and the period of David's kingship, where God gifts this child to Hannah, Samuel's mother. God's going to break into these circumstances that seem to be in this ongoing cycle, and He's going to set things in a different direction, in a different trajectory. And of course, here we have the story of Jesus. And just like those other stories from the Old Testament, God is going to break into the narrative of His people living at this time and in this place and change the direction of history. But this story is different because in Moses' story and in Samuel's story, we have perfectly normal human children being born. And we see at the end of those stories, there's always a bad ending. Things may get better or turn a different direction, but they ultimately end sort of back where they began. But here in Jesus' story, we have something very different. We hear that Mary was pregnant by the Holy Spirit. This is what we call an immaculate, a miraculous conception. Because Jesus is, yes, fully human, but also fully God. There's never been anyone like Jesus born in the history of civilization, which is why He's the only begotten Son of God. He's unique. He's one of a kind. There's never been another like Him. And through His birth, we have the inspiration of hope. That just like those other stories, God is intervening and He's going to set things in a different direction, but this time for an eternal change. That Jesus, through His birth and through His ministry and ultimately His death, His burial, and His resurrection is going to set things on a different trajectory and offer for humanity full reconciliation with God. That is our hope. The birth narrative reminds us that something new is happening. Something different is coming, and that God is able to break in from the outside and do something that He's never done before. That's my prayer for us this Christmas, that no matter what our circumstances, that God can break in and do something new. And that should give us hope. No matter how hard or difficult this season, whether it be this particular season or the season in life that we're in may be, there's always hope because God is able to break in and set us on a different trajectory. Hope this Christmas. Merry Christmas.